Good evening, everyone. This is Vicki Simons with TruckDriversMoneySavingTips.com. Tonight I will be talking about how professional truck drivers can use crock pots in their trucks to help them cook meals to save money on at least some restaurant meals, and we'll be discussing various things. I will be posting the link to the Crockpot page from our website in the comments below after the broadcast is over. This is designed to help professional truck drivers save money and time in their trucks, and we will be talking about various aspects of that. Okay, so what is a crock pot? Okay, that is actually a trade name for a slow cooker. A crock pot is different from, say, a hot pot or a kitchen kettle. A kitchen kettle is a specific type of a Presto hot pot, and an electric skillet that has direct heat. Some of these electric skillets, they can get up to like 400, 450 degrees. A crock pot is generally, because it's a slow cooker, the temperature is generally lower, but we have found that with one of our large crock pots, okay, it has a higher temperature than usual, so you may want to just test it a few times before you get going. Okay, this is an example of a crock pot branded crock pot. It's a little 20-ounce job. Let me just go ahead and open it. Mike used this. We found this. It's got a lid here and just a liner here that is removable. And this can be filled before a local truck driver goes out on the road. Of course, you can probably use it too when you're doing a heavy haul or whatever. But the instructions that come with this unit say that it is not for cooking. Okay, it is only for warming. Okay, now when Mike was using this appliance on the road, when he was driving for a local lumber company, hauling flatbeds, okay, it was a local job, but when he was using this, there was plenty of steam that was generated. In other words, it acted as though it could cook if it was allowed to go warm enough. So just bear in mind that the instructions say it's not for cooking, but so be it. All right, let me show you one of the crock pots that we used when we were on the road. This is the same brand, crock pot brand, but this is a slow cooker. And the primary ingredients, or the primary parts, I should say, of a crock pot are the lid, all right, the liner, and the heating base, okay, which consists also of the handles and the little feet that you have, plus there's going to be some sort of a power plug, okay, whether, for example, in the hot pot that I showed you the other day, there was an actual electrical connection that got made at the pot, and of course that happens with an electric skillet too, and then it gets plugged in. Well, this particular this particular crock pot has an AC cord, okay, so this can only be used either with your plug-in inverter, the cigarette type, or you can plug it into a battery-powered inverter. Now let me show you. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, this particular one, I don't know if you can see that or not, it says 190 watts. Okay, 190 watts. This particular crock pot, because of the power that it draws, cannot be used with a plug-in inverter that provides only 175 watts. Do you understand why? Because it's drawing more power than the inverter, the plug-in inverter, can supply. Okay, so you would need to use this particular brand, this particular crock pot, with a battery-powered inverter, a battery-connected inverter only. Okay, that's the only way it can be connected. All right, now, that being said, let me just show you if I can find it on here. All right, you probably can't tell, but this liner has a crack in it, just a little hairline crack. Okay, I'm not sure how it developed, but I do know that we would not want to continue to use this particular crock pot for cooking something that was primarily liquid, like a soup, okay, or something like a beans that has a lot of liquid associated with it, because it could leak through. Unless, okay, one was using a crock pot liner, okay, basically a specially tempered bag that you would put inside, and it would the bag would come over the top of it, and then you would put the lid on top, okay, and just let it go. All right, so that was our motto when using a crock pot in the truck: put it on low and let it go. All right, I'm going to refer to some of the paid information from our website. Of course, the hot pot and the skillet are for higher heats. The crock pot or the slow cooker is for lower temperatures. Okay, you can overcook food in a crock pot if you leave it in for too long. We have done that. All right, the size and the capacity of these crock pots varies depending upon where it is that you buy it and what brand. Okay, most of the time we've seen them being either round or oval in shape, and we have seen them go up to as large of a capacity as 6.5 quarts. If you are a professional driver, you probably want to have a slightly smaller capacity, unless it's the case that you're planning on putting some food away in a place where it's going to be able to be taken care of. For example, if you're cooking perishable food, then you will need to go ahead and put that away in either your thermoelectric cooler or your ice chest or your compact refrigerator. All right, the heating bases vary depending on what it is that you use. I have seen where there are 12-volt hot crock pots. I do not recommend them, but some people may have good success with them. If you have a 12-volt crock pot and you are satisfied with it, please submit a review of that product through our website. We very much want to hear from you. And I have also seen on Amazon where there are propane-powered crock pots as well. All right. If you are going to be using this device while you are driving, you do not want to use a propane-powered crock pot. Okay. You want to be able to take care of that slow cooking a different way, all right, because you want to be able to control that flow of gas, and you don't want to be having some sort of an accident while you're driving. Speaking of accidents, it would be a good idea for you to brace your crock pot the way that we have done so in the past, and I do not necessarily recommend this, but the way that Mike and I did it was that we had a milk crate, a pretty good size, sturdy one, and we lined that with a nice thick towel, and then we put the crock pot down inside of it in order to brace it. Now, just because the crock pot is braced does not mean that the lid is braced, okay? I don't like rattling things when, and you could ask Mike, he'll go, ha, 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 yeah, she's right. I don't like rattling things or things that clank or clink while I'm driving. I like it nice and everything to be snug and everything's good and firm. So, in order to keep the lid from rattling on your crock pot while you're driving, you could either put a nice thick towel on top or put a rubber band, a big rubber band over the top. For example, you can put that, straddle it over the top where the little knob is to pull the lid up, and put it over the ears, what I would call the ears of the knobs on the side of the crock pot, in order to keep that on there. All right. And also, depending upon the height of the crock pot that you're using, okay, it could be more unstable as you're driving, so be aware of that. Okay, I'm not sure how likely it is to find one of these days, but one of the first crock pots that we ever used in our truck had a non-removable liner. Okay, that has pros and cons associated with it, and I will let you look on our website to learn more about that. Okay, if you're going to be using a crock pot liner or a slow cooker liner in your truck, we have hazarded the ability for you to be able to stack, what we call stack things in your crock pot. So, for example, you could put the meat down farthest into the bag, and then give it a little twist, and then put, say, your vegetables or something on top of that, and then twist that, and then tie it up, and then let it go. Okay, now, if you're doing something like pot roast, where you're cooking potatoes and onions and things like that, where you want for the flavor of the meat to blend with the flavor of your vegetables, then by all means you don't have to twist that in two. You just put everything down the bottom and maybe season it a little bit, and then let it go. It's, oh, so yummy. We have a list of various things that we have cooked in a crock pot in the truck while we have been together on the road. All right. Some of these parts on crock pots are replaceable. However, we have found that with, for example, at least one time I was looking for a replacement lid for one specific crock pot, and it was more expensive to replace the lid plus the postage and shipping than just to replace the whole doggone piece of equipment there. So not all of your crock pots are created equally. One of these that I referenced on our page was not designed for uncooked meats. That could be similar to that little lunch crock that I saw. Okay, and the crock pot is not intended to bake or broil like a toaster oven. It's not intended to boil eggs or pasta like a hot pot can, and it doesn't cook fast like a microwave can. So you want to make sure that you allow enough time for whatever it is that you're cooking to actually cook through. All right. We have also found that crock pots aren't very good for cooking pasta long term. So that's our own particular thing there. Okay, if you're going to be buying one of these things from a truck stop, bear in mind what sort of a warranty there is. I would strongly encourage you to look at a different source for your appliance, okay, especially if you're going to be knocking it around a good bit in your truck, okay. Also, depending on what kind of a setup that you've got in your truck, some drivers may prefer to cook their food under the bunk. Okay, just be careful and not neglect that. Okay, if you're cooking something very savory like barbecue, you won't be able to get away from the smell. And it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to have to go back and get that out of there after a while. Okay, look for a decent warranty. A decent warranty would be like a 1-year period, not a 90-day period. All right. All right, what have we have all personally experienced some very great success in cooking with a crock pot in our truck. One of our biggest successes, and we talk about this on a separate page called our Thanksgiving dinner. We made an entire dinner by cooking a boneless, skinless turkey breast in the crock pot, and then we made other kinds of dishes and different kinds of appliances in the truck, and we just had to stage that, okay, as we went along. So various kinds of crock pot slow cooker recipes that I reference here: Amish baked oatmeal, barbecue pork, beef stew, chicken, macaroni and cheese, pot roast, potatoes, peach crisp, and split pea soup. Okay, you can do different kinds of beans there too. And of course, a crock pot is great for being able to warm up foods like soup or stew, something that's already canned, or if your home support team has supplied you with a goodly number of home canned foods, you can do that as well. Okay, so from poultry to beef to pork, from soups to stews, beans and peas, a crock pot can be used to cook and heat up so many things that your money-saving options are practically unlimited. It's one of our favorite types of cooking appliances in the truck. All right, let me also mention that when you're considering what kind of power source to use for your crock pot, you can use an AC-powered crock pot in a truck if you have the right power connection, but you cannot use a DC powered crock pot in a house, okay, unless you've got some other sort of similar thing. Okay, he said we waited so long in a dock. Actually, if I remember correctly, we waited so long on one dock that we did lunch and dinner there. And anyway, that was great, sweetheart. Okay, yes, you have time at your advantage when you are driving long distances. We would appreciate your reviews of whatever appliances that you're using. Doesn't have to be a crock pot. Okay, now, speaking of crock pot liners or slow cooker liners, when I was using these, and I was very reluctant to try, it's kind of like, man, when you look at it, there's like 2 liners per box, and they're like $2 or better for a box of these things. It's kind of like, that's $1 a piece. But the thing about it is, depending upon what kind of a driver you are, if you would prefer not to have to clean the liner, okay, or if you don't have a portable toilet in your truck to be able to receive the waste from cleaning your crock pot out, then a liner makes perfect sense, okay? You can just basically pull it out and throw it away. Now, that being said, if you don't have a liner, food can spill over the side and down between the liner and the heating basin. That can be kind of yucky. Okay, great. All right, we can also answer some questions about these things. We've tried so many different things in our trucks over the years, and like I said, the crock pot's one of our favorite. All right, now, I have, you can probably see here, there's a chart down at the bottom of our Truck Drivers Money Saving Tips page on the crock pots, but How big would your savings be if you were to use the crock pot to cook in your truck and save money on versus a restaurant meal? Let's just say that your cost for whatever it is that you have is fairly negligible, and you are able to save the cost of the meal plus a tip being, let's say, $10. Okay, depending on what it is. If you were to save, if you were to just cook, one meal in your crock pot, all right, you would save $10. Okay, but if you were to do that every week for 52 weeks, obviously you would be saving $520 a year. All right, let's bump it up. Let's just say, for example, that you ate 5 meals a week out of your crock pot. All right, at $10 comparatively for a restaurant meal, that'd be $50 for that week. And then on a yearly basis, at $10, 5 meals a week, that'd be $2,600 you would save versus a restaurant. All right, let's bump it up and say 10 meals, just for the sake of argument. 10 meals, $10 each, $100. Over the course of 1 year, if you were to do that every week for a year, $5,200. The largest amount that I have here is, and I don't think there are any restaurants meals that you could eat that would be $20 in a truck stop, at least not that I know of, even though it may be like an Easter. I think the largest I've ever seen is like maybe $14 or $19.95 just for that one special occasion. But anyway, if you were to spend an average of $20 on a meal over the course of and you cook crockpot meals, 10 meals a week, okay, that would be the equivalent of over $10,000, okay, that you would be saving if you were to be spending on average $20 a piece. So there are significant savings that you can realize. I would encourage you, when you save the money, okay, and of course you're going to be paying, there's going to be time involved with you preparing and then eating in your truck, and then cleaning up afterwards. But the prep time for crock pots is fairly small, and the cleanup, especially if you use a crock pot liner, is fairly small, okay? All you have to do is basically wipe off your utensils and whatever it is you're eating. In fact of the matter is, depending on what it is, you can eat directly out of the crock pot if you needed to, okay? Just watch yourself that you don't burn yourself in the process. But the fact of the matter is, okay, you're going to be spending time to go into a restaurant, and you're going to be spending time to place an order or go to the buffet, and that's going to be time anyway, okay? You can save the time, and here's the money saving, all right? Whenever you cook a crock pot meal, okay, whatever you would have spent in a restaurant, go ahead and put that in your savings. Okay, and allow that money to accumulate. If you've got some sort of a debt, put it towards paying off your debt if you can. The amount of money that you can save here, I mean, it may seem negligible on a per meal basis, but after a while it can really start to add up if you do it right. Okay, so also just from a health and wellness standpoint, the better the ingredients you put into your crock pot, the more nutritious your meal is going to be, and the better your health will be for it. If you're eating stuff with a lot of preservatives in it, like, let's say, canned ravioli with, MSG or something in it, be careful, because you can do yourself more harm than good. Just tonight, I posted on my own personal Facebook page that I am not going to be able to eat a commercially prepared ranch salad dressing anymore, because there's at least one, maybe two ingredients in that salad dressing preparation that gives me a headache. I just got through with a 2-day headache because of this stuff, and I just don't like doing that. So just be aware that what goes in it can have lasting effects for a while. My husband wrote this. He said, "You work hard to make your money. Be a wise steward of all that's been entrusted to you." Amen. I really appreciate the work that you're doing, professional drivers, and my husband Mike and I endeavor to be able to help you save time and money through our website. We have over 1,400 pages that are designed to help you save time and money, and we just we know how hard it is, okay? Some drivers are like, I can't cook in my truck, I don't know how. Now, that being said, I can't cook in my truck, okay? Is it the fact that you can't or you don't want to, okay? If you have a trucking company that forbids you from using a battery-powered inverter, battery-connected inverter, okay, it may be more difficult. Or if they forbid you from using any kind of an inverter at all, okay, it could be hard for you to be able to cook anything, okay? We actually encountered a driver whose trucking company wouldn't even let him have one of those little inverters plug-in. Okay, now, he had cigarette lighters in his truck, but the thing is he wasn't able to use that for a power source, which was really sad. But in my opinion, if you've got a trucking company that's that doggone stingy that they won't allow you to cook in your truck, you need to start looking for a different trucking company. But you're going to be living in your truck. You need to have the freedom, in my opinion, to be able to cook in your truck and clean up in your truck. You live there, so you should be able to do anything that the trucking company employees do in their office. And I'm sure they'd be able to use some sort of a microwave or a cooking appliance in their break room. So that's just my own personal opinion. Now, one last thought before I let you go tonight. I do want to also give you a teaser before I leave, but Darren Hardy, who used to be the editor of Success Magazine, wrote a book some time back called The Compound Effect. Okay, and what that is basically small things that you do consistently over a period of time. Okay, so if you get into a habit of being able to cook in your truck, eat in your truck, clean up in your truck, and save that money, okay, there's a compound effect over a period of time. If you work at it, if you're diligent, if you set that money that you've saved aside. Okay, so be aware that you can do this. You can start small if you want to, and if your trucking company allows you to do so. And as a special teaser, we're going to be giving a really special Sunday broadcast tomorrow night, so you won't want to miss that. And we want to thank you, professional drivers, for the work that you're doing. Until next time, my husband Mike and I wish you safe travels and lots of money-saving opportunities on the road. Have a great weekend and a great night. Thanks.